Hey guys, this is Benjamin with Benjamin's Exotics, and I'm thinking about doing a few things soon with DIY, like racks and such. And here's a video that it's kind of scary, but I've never seen a video like this put up on YouTube, even though it's something that really should be addressed, and that many people who own ball pythons should know. Now, this is my about a little bit over 1 year and 9-month old female pastel ball python, and as you can see, she's getting pretty skinny. She hit about 1,200 grams, or 1,300 grams, and I don't know what happened, but sometimes when they hit about that mark, they just go straight off food. So she has been off food for quite a while, and if she doesn't start eating soon, we're going to try live rats. I've always done frozen, and if she won't eat a live rat, we're going to try a mouse frozen, and if she doesn't eat that mouse, we're going to try a live mouse, and if she won't do that, we might try African soft furs. But besides that, if she doesn't start eating soon, we might have to try some just assist feeding. Now, this snake has not lost a lot of weight, but she has really lost thickness and fat, so we'll give her literally a few more weeks, and if the feeding problem doesn't get solved on its own, then we'll try intervening. We won't go straight to assist feeding, of course, but I just wanted to say that because this girl's a little bit skinny, and you guys are used to seeing some pretty good-sized snakes like my 2,500 gram male normal ball python, and like my Mojave and Spider and stuff. They're pretty good thickness. So when you look at this girl, you guys might, I don't know what you're thinking, but just so you know, there's your warning that this snake hasn't eaten in a while. So this is not normal, of course. But the main topic of this video is just going to be for any of you DIYers out there, or anybody that is going to try to make stuff for your snake, especially in their cage. Few things I wanted to talk about really quickly. Number one, and the biggest thing, is what this video is probably going to be titled, is do not use tape for your snakes, or tape's really bad for snakes, and then here's why. So, here's the dangerous thing right here, tape. Most people would think that this is not nearly as bad as it is for snakes, and I'll explain really quickly. What happens when you take a piece of tape, right, and you just stick it on your hand, or stick it on something? Well, I'm going to stick it on the side of this table. What happens when you stick a piece of tape on something? Like your hand. It's going to leave a residue behind. Even if you don't see it, if you leave it on something for a really long time, you will see it. But it's going to leave a residue. Especially if it's in a humid environment like a snake tank. And while I've never had this happen to me before, I've seen some pretty bad pictures of it, and I've had some people write to me some pretty not good things about what's happened because they've done something like this. And then I try to help them as much as I can, and it doesn't normally, kill the snake, but it can do a good amount of damage. So, number one, just don't ever put tape in your snake's tank. I don't care if it's to, I don't really care if the excuse or the reason for putting it in your snake's tank is because you needed to tape a plant, or you need to tape the glass because it cracked, or anything. Tape should never, under any circumstances, be put in a snake's tank. What'll happen is, and I've seen pictures of it, the tape gets on the side of this snake. This is actually, her colors are coming out really bad, just so you guys know. She actually is a really nice looking pastel, but anyways, the tape gets stuck on the side of the snake. That residue gets in behind the scales into the skin, and snakes only shed their skin so much. As humans, we can scratch our skin off. Just take a knife, and a sharp knife, and brush it against your skin, and you'll see little pieces fly off, and we'll regrow that in a few days. Not the way with snakes. Snakes only shed once every month as babies, and as adults only once every few months. So any skin problems are much more serious than with a mammal. So what'll happen is it'll get stuck on the side of the snake, residue will build up inside, and when that tape comes off, or when you try to soak and take that tape off, the skin's going to come off, and the scales are going to come off. Now, if scales get ripped up from the root all the way off, your scales aren't going to regrow. They're going to come back as scars. So not only you're not going to have a very pretty snake, but if that wound, it's basically an open wound, if that gets infected or anything, you're going to have some really bad problems, especially with a baby. because baby scales are a lot more, even though they can regenerate quicker than adult scales, of course, they're smaller, so they're much easier to get peeled off. So never, under any circumstances, do we put tape inside of a snake's tank. I don't care what the reason is, there's absolutely zero excuses or explanations for having tape inside of a snake's tank. That's number one. Number two, I've seen people do a lot of DIY projects with silicone and stuff like that. And this is just a few reminders for you guys. And I'm being extra safe that she doesn't touch, her scales with that tape or anything, of course. And it's not like if it touches the snake automatically, it's going to do something bad. It's when they're in the tank and it's humid and they rub against stuff. They're trying to get it off and they're rubbing it. And it just keeps getting in, the scales and to their skin deeper and deeper. So I'm going to move that real quick. But the second thing that I'll address real quick is silicone. All silicone is not the same. Now, there's a few different ways that you can look at that, but when we're talking about reptiles, okay, we're looking at the types of silicone in terms of their toxicity, if you want to say that. Silicone, like used in these tanks, is not really bad for snakes. There's nothing toxic about them, they're mostly natural, right? When you're making a project, if you're trying to seal it with silicone and you're trying to put a live animal like a snake in it, you have to make sure and be very extra careful, and you need to use the silicone that says aquarium silicone, or that it's used for fish, or that it's safe and non-toxic. Because if you don't, when your snake breathes in the humidity from that, or any odor that comes from that silicone, you're going to have some real problems with respiratory. If it touches it and it's toxic, that'll also give you some problems. So the two main things of this video is, the biggest one was tape, but silicones kind of goes along with that. When you're looking at your silicone, you got to make sure it's non-toxic and safe. I always say just safe for fish tanks, because if it's safe for your fish, it's going to be probably safe for your snakes. Not always, but in terms of what we're talking about, that's the case. And if we're leaving this video, leaving thoughts for you guys to just keep in mind and think about, whenever you're doing silicone, you gotta check and make sure that it's safe for your snakes, and never, ever put tape inside of a snake's tank, right? Thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to see more videos like this, just little tips and things like that, you can leave a like below. If you want to see more videos and more from the channel, subscribe. We'll be doing a few unboxing videos soon. So, as I said before, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.